And now, it's time for the Well-Read Llama with your host, author Erin Mifflin.
Hello, listeners. Happy first day of fall. There's so much to love about autumn, isn't there? Speaking of so much to love, today we have a special episode with my husband, Joel. I thought we might come on here together to talk about our first 6 months of marriage and some bookish things, too. Hi, Joel.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Today we're going to talk about being married, about going to a writer's conference, books we've listened to together, and if we have time, I'll also share about some books I'm looking forward to coming out before the end of the year.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Well, before we get started, I'd appreciate it if you would take a moment to follow us on social media. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram at author Erin Mifflin. Joel, where can listeners find you?
On Facebook, and then they can follow me on the Lunchbox block with Brando and Joel, because I do that now from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And where can they find that?
On MTM Broadcasting.
All right. So if you want to listen to Joel and Brando on their lunchtime show, that's where you can find them. So, Joel, what's one of your favorite things about being married after 6 months together?
Just the deeper love that we have for each other. I mean, it's like it is deeper every day, and just the closeness that we have.
That's true. And I knew that it would be true when we got married. You know, you only know someone so well at that point, and every day you just get to know them a little bit better, and we just keep falling more and more in love with each other.
I was telling Mom the other day that everything is easy with us. You know, we don't argue, we don't bicker. Everything is just easy, and it's fun 99.9% of the time.
We do have a lot of fun together, and we make a great team.
We do.
We're able to tackle challenges together and work together around the house and just have a good time together.
Yeah.
And another thing that I like is that we find out more and more all the time how suited we are to each other.
Definitely.
We really are a good fit.
Yeah.
And we're so blessed in that way.
Very blessed.
So when we first got married, a lot of people kept asking me what surprised me most about being married, because I was a later first-time bride, and getting married later in life, I guess people thought there might be some surprises, but honestly, at first, I didn't find anything too surprising, because I've lived with family my whole life, so I was used to living with others, and, you know, we already got along really well, so there weren't any unexpected adjustments as husband and wife. But as I thought about it, I realized my biggest surprise wasn't that there were no surprises. It was that I feel so relaxed around you.
I feel very relaxed around you as well.
Yeah, I'm just completely at home with you.
Which goes back to what we were talking about a second ago, where everything is just easy with us.
Right. And so, you know, like I've said, I've always lived with family, but it's not the same as just being with my person. And there's no strife or stress or anxiousness in between us. It's just love and acceptance and peacefulness.
And keeping God at the center of it.
Yes. That is definitely important. It's super important.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm just very thankful to have that between us.
Me too. And we've also gotten a new vehicle in the past 6 months.
Yes. So that is very fun to have a car that is reliable and we're not worried about it when we drive it around.
Hugo the Highlander.
Yes. So that was a fun experience.
Or as our 4-year-old niece likes to affectionately call it, Frigo Camaro.
All right. And I don't even think she knows what a Camaro is.
I don't think she does either.
She is so funny.
Yeah.
So we've had a very happy first 6 months of marriage, and we're hoping for many, many more months in the future.
Definitely.
Now, at the beginning of September, we went together to the American Christian Fiction Writers Conference. And I've been to this conference before, but it was my first time to take Joel with me. I loved introducing him to so many writer friends. So, Joel, did you have any observations about writers in general after you were around a whole bunch of them at one time?
They're just like everybody else.
Yes.
Before I met a bunch of writers, I was like, man, these people are like above me intellectually and everything else. But I'm like, they're just ordinary people just like me.
Yep. Just ordinary people. And you also said we were very wordy,
Yes, very wordy.
which you would hope that we would be that way, you know?
And one of the fun things about the conference was the class on body language.
Yes. And that was very interesting because before we went there, when I was telling you about what classes I was going to take, you had mentioned, like, what does body language have to do with writing?
Right.
And so I was trying to explain it to you, but then I was like, wait, since you are blind, does that even make sense what I'm trying to explain to you? But then you like stories and storytelling, so you were able to understand what we were talking about.
Yeah, and whenever I listen to a story, I get a picture in my head of how the characters might look or how they might respond to situations if they're angry or if they're happy or surprised or something like that. So this body language class helped me to kind of expound on that.
And so the class was taught by Carrie Stewart Parks. And I've actually never read one of her books, but we're going to try to read one soon because she's just such an excellent teacher. And the way that she just has a very fascinating life. Also, she's a forensic artist. So she works with the FBI and she trains FBI agents and as far as how to take a statement from a witness and draw a suspect from that. So it's just fascinating to talk about that and to listen to her explain about body language and what different facial expressions and things that you do with your hands, your arms, and your legs, all of those things was so interesting.
She's very fascinating to visit with.
Yes. And I took a lot of notes on that class, and I look forward to revisiting them.
Right. And that will help you in your writing journey as well.
Yes. And when we talked to Carrie personally, we mentioned that, you are blind and how that was like playing into how we were thinking about her class as we were taking it. And she said, when a reader reads a story, they're also sort of blind because it's not like playing out in front of them like a movie screen. In effect, the reader is actually blind too. They only have your words to go by. So that was kind of like a challenge to me even to think about more how I could use what I know from my relationship with you to bring that even onto the page in my descriptions of things and different things like that.
You're very good at describing things and people too.
Aw, thank you. And another thing that I wanted to talk about was the worship. The worship times were great.
That was one of my favorite parts of the conference was the worship times.
Yes.
It was really neat to listen to the band and also listening to everybody singing praises to God at the same time.
Yes. So at conference, Rachel Hauk is the worship leader, and Pepper Basham does vocals, and they have a live band, and they just do such a good job ushering you into an attitude of worship and giving you time to enjoy the presence of the Lord.
It was amazing. I could definitely feel his presence.
Yes, and I love sharing that with you. It was really cool.
And another cool part about it wasn't actually at the conference, but was the hotel that we stayed in.
Yes. And so the conference was only about an hour from where we live. And so at first we were planning just to drive back and forth every day. But then we're kind of looking at the schedule and we realized that some of the stuff that we wanted to go to at conference was kind of late at night. And then it would start early the next morning, at least early if you were, including a 1 hour drive as part of that.
Yeah.
And so we decided we were going to go ahead and stay up there, but the conference hotel was pretty much already booked by that point because it completely sold out, which is just great. And so we ended up finding a cute little Route 66 motel that was only a few blocks away, and it was just perfect for us. So what did you like about that, Joel?
Just how close it was and just the room was comfortable.
It was kind of small because, it was from the 50s. And so it had that 50s design, but that didn't bother us,
No.
And they had done a really good job keeping it vintage, but also making sure it was updated, I thought. And the breakfast was good.
That's what I was also going to bring out too. The breakfast was amazing.
It's kind of funny. I'm not really a biscuits and gravy fan, but the second morning we were there, I woke up and, even as I was coming to consciousness, I was like, man, I want some biscuits and gravy.
That was funny.
And it was delicious that morning. So that was just kind of funny.
I didn't get any of it though, but that's okay.
Yeah, we were there like right before it closed,
Yeah.
so it didn't work out for
Somebody
Joel
else
to get any.
ate it before I could, but that's okay. I had it the day before, so
And
it's all good.
something else about this motel is that Elvis Presley once stayed there.
Yes, I was actually going to bring that up. Elvis Presley did stay there back in the 1950s.
And so you can actually rent the room where Elvis stayed. We did not because that was out of our budget, but they do have a special Elvis Presley suite. So if that is something that you're interested in Springfield, Missouri, you can go check that out. We just had a really good time. We really enjoyed it. I've stayed at some Route 66 places in the past, and I just really enjoy that little unique slice of culture and
Americana.
Yes.
The whole conference was neat. From the time we got there, it was just fun.
It really was. It's so fun. The people there are so friendly and so welcoming. They really feel like another family to me. I don't know if you got that feeling after
I did.
only one conference.
And the man that did the appointments, I can't remember his name.
Casey Miller.
Casey Miller, yes. He was from Arkansas, so we got to talk a little bit about that also.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Very great guy. And, just a shout out to everybody that put the conference together, even the hotel staff that prepared the lunches and dinners for us when we were there too. I mean, everybody there worked tirelessly, and everything just went smoothly.
It did. I know they work very hard on putting those conferences together and choosing the right locations and choosing the workshops from all the ones that are submitted for their consideration. And yeah, they spend a lot of time and a lot of prayer putting those together.
Yes.
So while we were there, I was able to meet with 2 different editors, and both meetings went well. We were there to talk about my story specifically, have a one-on-one meeting with them. And one of the most encouraging things that happened was both editors liked my platform. And in publishing terms, platform refers to things like the number of newsletter subscribers or social media followers that you have. And it's very important to build a healthy platform if you want to be traditionally published, because that's one of the first things publishers look at. They're going to look at your story, yes, but then do you have enough of a following for them to take a risk on you and put your story out into the world? Will it be something that they're able to sell because you have an audience already? And it's kind of hard to build an audience if you don't have a book already, but it's definitely something that they encourage you to do because they do pay attention to it. And for the first time ever, no one told me that I did not have a big enough platform, which is a huge relief because that's one of the most common things that a writer at my stage is told. You do not have a big enough platform. Build your platform more and we can talk to you later. But no, they were telling me I was doing all the right things and that my platform looked good. So that was very encouraging because it's something that I have worked on a lot.
I'm anxious to read this book and, well, all of her works when she gets them, to where we can read them and stuff like that.
Yes, and one editor in particular really loved my story and requested the full manuscript, which is great. I got it sent to her. So that's a big deal, and we're waiting to hear back. Who knows? It might be fun to have some exciting news to share soon.
Mm-hmm. So stay tuned to the Well-Read Llama for upcoming exciting news like that.
Yes. Another thing I wanted to talk about with the conference, and the worship really highlighted this for me, was how much has changed in my life since the last writers conference I attended in 2023, which was 2 years ago. And God has done so very much in my life since then. Some very, very big things that I did not see coming 2 years ago. And it's just amazing to remember where I was then with so many uncertainties and longings, and where I am today with so many questions answered and hopes fulfilled. So it's just a good reminder that God will continue to be trustworthy and faithful no matter what questions or uncertainties we face now or in the future. He is going to work them all out.
Well, it's like whenever we pray every day, I always pray, that we keep God at the center of our relationship. We stay close to each other, but also close to God.
Yes. One last thing I wanted to mention about the conference. We saw so many friends who have been on this show, The Well-Read Llama, for interviews. So I wanted to list some of them, and I will have links to these also posted when I have this up on YouTube if you would like to check them out. But just so you can hear some of these names, you might have already heard their interviews before. Katie Powner, Sarah Brunsvold, Becca Kinzer, Pepper Basham, Shannon Sue Dunlap, Carrie Walker, Jamie Ogle, Heather Kaufman, Martha Hutchins, Denise Perkins. And it was so fun to see them after they've been on here and, just getting a chance to see them again and build the friendships that we have.
I enjoyed getting to meet Katie.
Yeah, Katie's really sweet.
Yeah.
And her cow.
Oh, yeah, Moulin. That was a moving experience.
Yes. If you don't know, Katie has a stuffed cow that's her mascot.
Yeah.
And she brings it with her to conferences and book signings and has it on social media and stuff like that. So I also made more contacts with authors who will come on this show later and share about their lives and their stories. And I can't wait for you to meet them and hear about them.
It'll be awesome. You'll definitely want to stay tuned for that.
Another thing we wanted to talk about, since this is a book-focused show in general, we wanted to talk about the books that we've listened to on audio since we've gotten married.
Yes. The first one we listened to was The Waterkeepers.
The Waterkeeper from the Murphy Shepherd series by Charles Martin.
Yes. I think that's one of my favorite books that we've listened to so far.
And we did listen to 3 books in the series. Now, I chose that to listen to you because it's kind of different Christian fiction than I normally read, and I knew it was something that you would enjoy. But we turned it on, and I think you were like, whoa, this is what Christian fiction is like?
Yeah.
Now, it does have a very serious subject matter because it's about someone who is fighting child trafficking and rescuing children out of trafficked situations. So it definitely has a serious overtone, but it has a lot of action in it as they're tracking these children down and helping those that they've already brought out. And then there's lots of other storylines woven in as well.
Yes. One of my favorite characters, though, is the dog.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Of course, I'm a dog lover, so.
Yes. But we would definitely recommend those books if you have not read them.
Yes. And we read these when we're going on road trips.
Yes. So it definitely makes the time pass more quickly when they're driving down the road.
Definitely.
We listened to one that is an older book, and I got it as like a re-release from NetGalley, but it turns out it was only the first 30 chapters. So I'm going to have to get the rest of this book so we can finish reading it. But that was If I Run by Terry Blackstock.
Yeah, because we got to the end of the last chapter, and I'm like, wait, isn't there more?
And now I did happen to know, because it's a series, that the book ended on a cliffhanger, but I was like, that wasn't even like a cliffhanger. That was just the end of a chapter.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it, and it was just like a sample, a 30-chapter sample, which is a significant portion of the book.
That's a big sample.
But the whole series is coming out, re-releasing on audiobook. So that's what's kind of like a teaser that NetGalley did. So I have pre-ordered those, and they're coming out in October. So we will catch up to them then.
Yes, I'm anxious to get into that one and read more of it, and also read more of the series.
Yes, and that series is kind of based on the Fugitive TV show. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where there was like a really old series. It was a black and white series, and then there was a newer series that I believe Tim Daly starred in.
I've heard of it.
And my family always enjoyed watching those. So it's someone where this woman has been accused of murder, and she is innocent. She's on the run. She is trying to evade law enforcement and private investigators. And along the way, she is making a positive difference while also having to focus on keeping her identity a secret.
Very captivating story.
And another thing about this book is that it was just made into a movie on Lifetime. So that is another thing that we need to check out sometime.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, we need to go watch the movie version.
Another book that we read, and you've read this before, was Flabbergasted, yeah.
By Ray Blackston. And this is actually one of my favorite books. I read it in 2004. And it was just the right book at the right time. And I loved it. It was so funny and it just touched me at the same time. And so I've read it many times throughout the years since then. And it was fun to introduce it well, I should say introduce Joel to the story.
Yes, it was. It was just the way the narrator delivered lines sometimes was just hilarious.
Yes. The narrator is Andrew Peterson, who is an author and musician in his own right. So it's fun to listen to him bring the characters to life.
He does a great job with that.
And so we're currently listening to the sequel. We're not very far into it, called A Delirious Summer. And that one is fun too. I didn't like it as much as Flabbergasted, but it's been a while since I've read this one, so it'll be interesting to see if my perspective has changed. And then there's also a third book in the series, which is set in Australia. So I have that one that we can listen to sometime too.
Okay, that'll be good. It's been a summer of just a lot of reading, but that's okay. I like to read good books.
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing about Christian fiction and books in general, but especially Christian fiction, is that there's such a wide variety of genres to read.
Yeah.
And here, we were talking about some books that had more action in them and then a lighter one, that's kind of funny. There is such a wide variety. You can really find anything that you're looking for except, like anything that would be inappropriate for Christian reading.
Right.
And there's a place for everything out there. So that's one reason that I love interviewing authors and having them on here to talk about their stories, is so that listeners like you can hear all about the different stories that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just like to take a few minutes to talk about some books that are coming out before the end of the year. Just picked a few to highlight that I'm really looking forward to reading. One of them is called Through Water and Stone by Karen Barnett. It's a dual timeline story that's set at Zion National Park in Utah. And that is a park that I would love to visit someday. And national parks are kind of her thing because she actually used to be a national park ranger. So she's written other stories set at Yosemite, Yellowstone, Smoky Mountain National Park, and more. And I've really enjoyed the ones that I've read. And they definitely will give you the travel bug, so it should come with a little bit of a warning. Her recent book that was set at Redwood National Park just won a Christie Award. So that's very exciting for her. I enjoyed that story as well. Now, another one that's also coming out soon is called Sense and Suitability by Pepper Basham. And this is a romantic comedy, but it's set during the Regency era. So think Jane Austen and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. I love Pepper's stories and I love the Regency period. So I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun and I cannot wait to read it. There's also some Christmas books that are coming out or just have recently come out. If you are starting to think about Christmas, which we have had Christmas come up in conversation a few times already, even though I'm not really ready to talk about Christmas yet.
Me neither. It's like 3 months away.
But it is coming. And if you are one who likes to get in there and read Christmas books, I have some to recommend to you. One of them is called A Very Merry Matchup by Becca Kinzer. And it's about a travel nurse. And it looks like it's a lot of fun. It's a novella, so it's a little bit shorter. And it has a bright red cover. It's very Christmassy. Maybe I should not admit this, but when I see it, okay, the title is A Very Merry Matchup. But the first time I saw it, and now every time I see it since then, I think A Very Merry Ketchup. I'm sorry, Becca. So, because it's bright red, it looks like ketchup.
That's funny.
So it's quite memorable. It has a very cute dog on the cover,
Aww.
which happens to look a lot like Becca's dog in real life.
Aww.
So that would be a very fun story, I believe. And anybody who's read Becca knows that her books are so funny. Another one that I have that I'm looking forward to reading is called Holly and Nick Hate Christmas by Betsy Saint-Amant. And I don't know a whole lot about this one, but I would think maybe with the names Holly and Nick, that might play into why they hate Christmas.
Possibly.
So And I imagine also there's going to be some romance in there.
Probably.
So we're going to find out why they hate Christmas. And I bet by the end of the book, they probably come around and are pretty fond of Christmas.
I'm willing to bet that's what happens.
Now, last year in the months of November and December, I interviewed several authors about their Christmas stories that they have out. And that was before I was putting my episodes up on YouTube, but I still have the audio files. So if you want to be watching my social media, I can be starting to share about some of those if I get them put up on YouTube. And we can share some of the ones that we already shared last year in case you missed them, some of the fun Christmas stories that are out there. Now, Joel, tell the listeners again where they can find you and follow you on social media.
You can follow me on my personal Facebook page, or you can follow Lunchbox Block with Brando and Joel on the Facebook page there under MTM Broadcasting. If you want to listen to the Lunchbox Block, you can join us every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on KMTM Radio.
Now, what kind of music do you play on your show?
70s, 80s, and 90s, classic Christian contemporary. And we have a lot of fun stuff, too. We do something called the Other Verse and the Power Verse. We do an interesting news article, and we also do the Song of the Day and the National Holiday Food-Inspired Recipe.
You guys do have a lot of fun.
We do.
And listeners, you can follow me on social media at author Erin Mifflin to keep up with my writing journey and any news that I might have. And then you can also find out which Christian author we'll be having on next week for an interview. Also, you can visit my website, authorerinmifflin.com, to sign up for my monthly newsletter. Wouldn't you like to be a part of my platform? And just help me on my journey and just have you along and get to be friends. That would be great.
That would be great.
So until next time, happy reading.
Join us next week for another episode of The Well-Read Llama with your host, author Erin Mifflin. If you'd like to find out more about author Erin Mifflin, visit her Facebook and Instagram accounts.